This audio is going to be scuffed to all hell, but I don't feel like getting out of my bed at the moment. But I wrote this script, so I'm just going to read it, and yeah. So I know I'm a small channel, and not many people are going to see this, but with the passing of Akira Toriyama, thought I would share what Dragon Ball means to me. Without Dragon Ball, I would not be alive, and that has multiple meanings to it. One story I can vividly recall is I had accidentally cut myself, and it was either the loss of blood or me just watching it all come out of my body, but I passed out. Not once, but twice. The first time, I had a vision of people that were inspirational to me at the time, that I had known in real life, and they, helped me get up. The second time, though, was brought back to my feet by none other than Goku. I'm only doing one take. So if there's flubs, oh well. But Goku, he picked me up to my feet and told me that it wasn't my time to go yet. Another way that Dragon Ball has saved my life is I suffer from depression and, anxiety and suicidal thoughts. But in times of desperation, I look towards Trunks. And for those of you who don't know, Trunks comes from a post-apocalyptic future, or maybe just apocalyptic. I don't know. But yeah, in his timeline, there's seems to be no hope at all. Like, everyone's dead, all the great heroes are long gone. And it seems like there's no hope. But him and his mother found a way through. They found hope. And sure, it was through some science fiction BS, but they found a way. And anytime I'm struggling, I think about that. He literally has the word hope in English written on his time machine. And that shows that he, is a symbol of hope. And he just happens to be my favorite character. I first got into Dragon Ball through the video games. My cousins had the video games, and we would play them all the time. Sometimes we would pretend we were the characters. My older cousin, he was always Goku. My other cousin, he was Gohan, and I was, of course, Trunks. And we were fighting the Red Ribbon Army, which, timeline-wise, that makes no sense. But we had a lot of fun. There was also the time I fused with my cousin's neighbor to make Gotenks. And we fought people. But another time that leads into something, actually. There's a time I went to the park and I thought I was Broly. I don't know if I thought I was Broly or if I was just pretending to be Broly. But I was walking around the park and screaming, Kakarot! And that, like, I was screaming it. And, like, my cousins tried to distance themselves from me. Man, that's a weird story, but it comes back around to the fact that, as you just heard, like, it's not that good, but I've been practicing a Broly voice. And when I would do that, that sparked a passion in me for voice acting. I started to pay attention to voice actors more, and that's something that I'm truly passionate about. Not quite sure if I have the vocal talent to be able to do that myself. I would love to, but we'll see. But I'm very passionate about voice acting. It's an art form that I deeply respect and pay attention to constantly. It all started because of Dragon Ball. Toriyama necessarily didn't create Broly, but he's a character in the universe Toriyama created. And kind of circling back to the video games, for people who pay attention to the channel, most of you probably found me through my Twitch streams, where, I don't play many Dragon Ball games today. Hell, I don't even stream that often anymore because life circumstances, but I got my first boost in viewers when I started playing Dragon Ball The Breakers, a Dragon Ball game. Obviously, it's a Dragon Ball game and there's Dragon Ball in the name, but still. And I owe a majority of y'all to Dragon Ball. I owe like 90% of my friendships ultimately to Dragon Ball. Whether that be in the weird roundabout ways of like, I became friends with someone who had a passing interest in Dragon Ball, and then they had a friend and I became friends with their friend, and so on and so forth. Like, that has happened so many times, but still. The channel art that I use for my Twitch streams, and, those are Dragon Ball characters that I grew attached to because I play them in a Dragon Ball fighting game. My profile picture, the art style is based off of Dragon Ball. And that's where I got my stuff drawing. I draw all my channel art myself. And my profile pictures and whatnot. And I'm not the best at drawing. I don't even consider myself an artist. But if it weren't for the little Dragon Ball doodles that I would do on my notebooks or my science folder, it would just, I wouldn't be doing this. The drawing part, I mean, it's still just doodles, just a bigger scale, but my family, they say I never shut up about three things: JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Yakuza, or the Ryuga Gotoku series, and Dragon Ball. And out of those three things, Dragon Ball has been there for me for literally as long as I can remember. I can't think of a point in my life where I didn't know who Goku was. And speaking of Goku, I had a friend who really had a thing for Goku, and I never understood it. Still don't. I don't find him attractive. But I did find Trunks attractive. I always have. And at first I thought, It's just the one fictional character that happens to be male that I find attractive. Then I looked a bit further, did some soul searching, and, you know, and I realized he wasn't the only one. You know, as many of you may know, I'm openly pansexual, or as I like to put it sometimes in tweets, not straight, because it's a little funny to me to just say not straight. Because, like, you say gay, and some people don't know that I'm using the, you know, like the more umbrella version of gay. But yeah, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, how cartoons or anime or, you know, TV dramas or whatever have moments that are like their sexual awakening, and Trunks was that for me. Yeah, like he made me realize more about myself. This fictional character that Toriyama created. You know, on Twitter sometimes I kind of show off watashi no nihongo. And watashi no nihongo wa hitakuso dakara, I learned it because of Dragon Ball. And sure, I've watched other anime, but Dragon Ball was my first, and you never really forget your first, you know. There's so much more I can say, but I think that's enough rambling. And no matter what I say, it will never truly be enough. So, I guess I'll leave you with this. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, Toriyama Sensei. May you find peace. Arigato, Toriyama Sensei.